I give it one more time for life. I got a lot of love for that dude. Like, I put a CD out a year ago. Nobody even knew who Dichotomy was. You know what I mean? Life came up to me and was like, yo, we're going to do an album release. We're going to let you do it right here in Tampa. And ever since then, I've had the opportunity to you know, do poetry all across the U.S. and in Canada and everything, but it's all started right here. That dude right there was the person who gave me my first shot, so I got a lot of love. I want to make sure I shot him out. Now we got that out of the way. I also want to shout out. It's real crazy when you like doing poetry, because like one of my co-workers are here. So I want to shout out Mr. Jerry Quatek. Y'all get up for Jerry. He came to support the cause. He probably has no idea about this side of my personality, so he gonna experience something that we'll just attend when we get to work tomorrow that you never heard or saw any of this. So I go by the name Dichotomy, but my real name is Vincent Maurice. I was named after my mother's two brothers, and even though Uncle Vincent was this upstanding God-fearing man, I can't say the same for the other, because Maurice, he was a beast in the streets, what some might describe as a hustler. And even though I rarely had a chance to speak to the man, I knew when I did I couldn't trust him, but it didn't matter because he was my uncle. And for that reason, I will always love him. Or should I say, I would have always loved him. Because it was those North Nashville streets that was still his heartbeat that made those dudes got to busting. And even though the bullets weren't fit for him, it's his body that caused the majority of them. Now, I can't stand up here and make him seem like he was an angel, because the reality is that he wasn't. But the life that he led doesn't mean he deserves to be dead, because I'm telling you now that it doesn't. And for anybody who would say that it does, try to explain that to my two fathers, cousins, who like me, is trying to figure out how much in him is left of us. Now, when my uncle was alive, I never wanted him to think that I was above him. So when I see dudes in the streets doing the same thing, I try my best not to judge them. Because I realize that at the end of the day, sometimes circumstances makes it this way. And puts brothers in a difficult position. And when you ain't got nothing to eat and there's money in the streets, you gonna do what you gotta do to get a pot to piss in. And quite frankly, what else do they expect a brother to do in other ways to get money is missing? Especially when it seems like you've been asking for help. It doesn't seem like there's nobody listening. And see, that is the reason why I wrote this piece, because here's something that deserves to be mentioned. Now, even though I lost my uncle to gang violence, I've never been one to like another man's hustle. And I still have respect for the game. And understanding what leads a brother to lose in the first place, I'm not even going to say the hustle's to blame, because I have slept in my car and lived in the park, and I'm not going to say I wasn't tempted to do the same. But there comes a point in your life where you look at our community strife and you got to think this shit's got to change. Let's not get it confused. The hood's paid its dues, and right now it's expected to change, and that change has to start with you, it has to start with me. You see, I realized that I can no longer only be concerned with the well-being of those kids that are close to me. Because it is that complacency that is making these kids think that this is how things are supposed to be. That their current set of circumstances forever define them and makes it impossible for their goals to reach. And I understand that we got to show them something different, and that goes for me. And that's why dudes that were once my friends now have to be foes to me. Well, I try to lead a better example for those to see. Please believe, we can no longer subscribe to the tenet that those who are trying to clean up our communities are doing nothing more than snitching. Because pardon my French, but I think it's those dudes that are out there destroying it are really the ones that should stop bitching. Because your actions are built on karma. So you can't fuck with a dirty game and then wonder why you're cock stitching. See, instead of trying to be a hard nigga, why not try to be a father figure? Because that's really what the block's missing. See, we're glorifying the lifestyle that's defaming our women, putting priorities in our lives that are not our children. And some of us don't even realize it until the kids pray to God that he blesses the family and your name's not mentioned. But how can he miss what to him is not existing? You see, it may take a village to raise a child, but the absence of a single male can fail him. And how do we expect these boys to grow up to be men when there's not a man around to tell them? So instead, they fall victim to a society, quite frankly, is willing to sell him short. That thinks instead of educating him, it's easy to jail him. And now he's hanging by a thread that's real thin, looking at us, asking for us to help him. So what are we going to tell him? Black men, we are at a point now where we have to become vehicles of change. But the difficulty is, while half of us are trying to move forward focused, the other half are trying to dodge madness. Looking for answers in the streets when the entire time God's had them. You see, we need to be teaching our youth the truth more than lies. But instead, they're involved in black-on-black crime, where they learn to Q45. So from this moment until infinity, we got to teach them that we are not the enemy. You see, you all may not think that you're revolutionaries, but contrary to popular opinion, everybody in here is part of a revolution, part of the solution. We have to go from young black males who often associated with guns, crack, and jail to African-American men, determined to make a change, but this all must begin. Our communities. We must go from referring to our women as bitches and hoes to supporting these women with goals, because they are the backbone of every family. So I'm asking you to say something, do something, be something that will help our communities and increase our peace. Because my real name is Vincent Maurice. I was named after my mother's two brothers, and even though Uncle Vincent was an upstanding God-fearing man, I can't say the same for the other, because Maurice, well, he's my uncle that's now deceased, and I lost him without getting justice. But I carry his name, so his death's not in vain, and my world will make change because of him. Y'all help me make change. Rest in peace. Maurice.